And one would be some meaningful activities in heaven. And you are quick to point out that we'll have plenty to do, but we're going to be seeing people, we're going to be serving God. But you are often told heaven will be like an eternal church service, and you suggest that is not the case, because if it were the case, many wouldn't want to go there, I guarantee you. There will be face-to-face fellowship with God. There will be meaningful service to Him. God rewards us in heaven based on what we have done for Him here. Talk to us a little bit about what you think the meaningful activities in heaven might be all about.
Well, that's such a great question. In fact, we could spend a couple hours talking about that.
We could.
But, Revelation 1, verses 5 and 6 does indicate we'll be involved in meaningful service to the Lord. We will not be in a giant church service for all eternity. Neither will we be sitting on clouds playing harps for all eternity. Boy, would that get old fast.
Right.
The thing is, though, that in the midst of this service, we won't have any deadlines, and we won't be pressed to meet time demands. There's not going to be any office politics. There's no fear of being fired, but rather we're going to be ultimately fulfilled, engaged in service to the Creator. And personally, I don't think that's limited to the new heavens or the new earth. We're going to be living in a new heavens that encompasses our entire universe. God's going to renew the entire interstellar universe. Mm-hmm. So who knows what kind of assignments we might be put on. I do think that the more faithful that we are on this earth, the higher level of service will be involved in the afterlife. And I think that's real clear from the parable that Jesus told in Luke 19, verses 11 to 26. And in that parable, the master says to his servant, because you have been faithful, you shall have authority over 10 cities. And so this may relate to the teaching throughout the New Testament, Jan, that those of us who are believers will actually reign with Christ. A lot of people don't really think about that very much, but we're going to reign with Christ according to Revelation 5:10. And then in Revelation 22:5, we're told that we will reign forever and ever. And part of that will apparently involve judging over the angels. 1 Corinthians 6, verses 2 and 3, we find the Apostle Paul asking, do you not know that the saints will judge the world? Do you not know that we are to judge angels? And so that's another aspect of our service. And we'll also be involved in meaningful fellowship with other believers. And Jan, I'm not just talking about Christian loved ones. I'm also talking about all the greats of church history, people like Augustine, John Calvin, Martin Luther, and all the others, as well as the biblical saints, people like Adam and Noah and Abraham and Moses and Joshua and John and Matthew and all of the others. Ask questions of them. What about this Bible verse? What do you mean there?
Yeah, can you imagine, Ron, sitting down with David?
Oh, man, I just can't wait.
And asking him and talking to him about all of his time running away from Saul. I have this quote from my father that I think is so great. He says, God says He's prepared a place for you. The picture is of a great oriental palace, very popular in those days. This palace has many, many rooms in it, luxurious suites all the way down to closet-sized accommodations. You are going to inherit a room in the palace, which is in direct proportion to your life of service for Christ. In other words, salvation is God's gift to everyone, but the blessings of heaven and eternity are individually bestowed on the basis of one's life and dedication and service for Christ.
Okay.
That recognizes that there are Christians who are faithful and there are Christians who are carnal, and God is a perfect judge.
Well, there's no night, correct? No sleep. I don't know about food. I know there's fruit up there, but no night and no sleep, right?
Well, that's right, but just think about the significance of that. We're told that the New Jerusalem has all kinds of precious jewels scattered throughout, and the city itself is constructed of transparent gold, and there's no need of the sun or the moon to shine because God's glory lights up the eternal city, which is transparent. Now, I don't know if you can imagine in your mind what that might look like, but just imagine this city that's 1,400 by 1,400 by 1,400 miles, full of precious jewels and made of transparent gold, and this incredible glory of God, all that light just shining straight through it. And you know what? I think that words are inadequate to describe how great it's going to be. I think that those are the best words John could find in the book of Revelation, but I think that the reality is probably even more cool.